Next on Channel 8 Eyewitness News, live at 6:30, it's the eve of the 5th anniversary of the September 11th attacks, but many are already honoring those who lost their lives that fateful day. Plus, Democratic candidate for Senate Jack Carter is recovering in a local hospital. We'll have an update on his condition. And Metro Police are reaching out after seeing an increase in crimes against the Hispanic community.
You're watching Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 6:30. It's not just news, it's Eyewitness News.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. It was a day America will never forget. 5 years ago tomorrow, 4 planes were hijacked by men affiliated with Al-Qaeda. 2 planes hit the towers of the World Trade Center, 1 hit the Pentagon, and the 4th crashed in Pennsylvania after the passengers tried to overpower the hijackers. Now, tomorrow, as you know, is the actual anniversary, but many are honoring the victims today. This is a live picture of the Pentagon tonight. These beams of light shine to remember that fateful day. Jennifer Miller reports from New York.
For the average tourist visiting this memorial at Ground Zero, the anniversary of the attacks on September 11th is a day to remember victims, honor heroes, and reflect.
It angers me. It really does.
But for Arlene Russo, the anniversary is just another day without her son.
It's still as fresh as it was yesterday. It always will be. It always will be. I don't know.
Wayne Russo was on the 98th floor of Tower 1 when the first plane hit. His mother believes he died instantly.
There's not one day, that 1 minute and an hour that goes by that he doesn't flinch.
At this memorial, emotions run the gamut. Poster-sized photographs tell the story of those who died and those who didn't. A somber reminder of the day that for so many changed everything. Peter Miller was also in Tower 1 when a plane rocked the building. A survivor of the 1993 World Trade Center attack, he knew this one was different.
In the stairwell going down, I was saying they really got it right this time.
Miller now has what he calls a new normal and dedicates part of his life to making sure the lessons of 9/11 are not lost.
We can only hope that it will never happen again.
President Bush says 9/11 changed how he sees the world. This evening, he laid a wreath at each tower and attended a prayer service in Manhattan. It's a somber occasion. 5 years ago, the date was an unremarkable September 10th, and the thousands who died here were still alive. Jennifer Miller, CBS News, New York.
Many New Yorkers who survived the attacks left the city to start new lives, and a number of them came here to Las Vegas. Eyewitness News reporter Plaskon caught up with one man who was working in Manhattan that day and watched as the Twin Towers tumbled down.
Get out! Get out!
It was just a total disaster that day. Couldn't communicate with anyone. All the phones were down. Cellular phones weren't working. My wife was somewhere in New Jersey, didn't know where she was, couldn't get in touch with her.
Steve Foreman now lives in the peace of Summerlin, but that day is always in the back of his mind.
I watched the Twin Towers fall down. People were hysterical in the streets. They were crying. And
he was working on the 52nd floor of the Empire State Building when it all happened. He tried to get back to a normal life there afterwards, but after a while he decided that he wanted to move up his plan to move to Las Vegas, but the memory still haunts him.
The only lesson that I learned is just being more cautious of who's over your shoulder and who's standing behind you. And
he says it still brings tears to his eyes to talk about it. Plaskon, Channel 8 Eyewitness News.
Foreman says he doesn't have any special plans for tomorrow, but there's one thing he can count on. Every 9/11 anniversary, his best friend calls him to talk about that day. There are several memorials on display in the valley honoring the victims of September 11th. This one here is at Red Rock Canyon, and it's a walkway memorial. It was dedicated several weeks after the attacks. Tomorrow, a special ceremony will take place at 10 a.m. It is open to the public. Another memorial is set up at Palm Mortuary near 215 and Jones in the Northwest. Nearly 3,000 flags are on display. They stand 8 feet tall and represent the lives lost on 9/11. This memorial will be up through Thursday. And one of those flags bears the name of a local teacher who died on 9/11. Palo Verde High School teacher Barbara Edwards was on Flight 77 when it was flown into the Pentagon. Faculty and students honored Edwards with a memorial bench at the school overlooking the soccer field. The sign reads, "We will never forget." It is written in English, German, and French. Those were the 3 languages that Edwards taught at the school. Tonight, Eyewitness News will air a documentary on September 11th. It was shot by two French filmmakers who started the day doing a piece on New York firefighters. They then followed the crews into the burning towers after the hijacked planes. We want to tell you that the footage is very dramatic, sensitive, and emotional. This unedited documentary begins tonight here on Channel 8 at 8 p.m. Another big story we're following tonight is crimes against Hispanics. Police say crimes are on the rise in the northeast part of Las Vegas, and that's why Metro is turning its efforts to education. From July 1st to August 15th, 92 street robberies were reported. 76 of the victims were Hispanics. Eyewitness News reporter Martha Guzman joins us live from Freedom Park near Washington and Mojave with the story. Martha?
Well, Colleen, it's a party out here. Thousands of people from the community have been stopping by here at Freedom Park throughout the day to enjoy the festivities here. Now, earlier today, members of Metro's Hispanic American resource team were out here reaching out to many people who stopped by their booth. They say dealing with the rising violent crimes against Hispanics will take more than just enforcement. It's also going to take education. Now, Metro police officers set up a booth next to one of the stages. Officers spent the day handing out crime prevention information in both English and Spanish. Lieutenant Steve Menger with the Northeast Command says they want to educate the community about the rising crimes against Hispanics and to help them from becoming victims.
And they're targeting the Hispanic community for two main reasons. One is because they carry their money on their person, so they know they'll usually have it on them. And two, they know chances are they're going to be afraid to report it out of fear of deportation or just a cultural fear of police in general.
Menger says events like this help to build trust between police and the Hispanic community. Officers say they want Spanish-speaking members of the community to feel comfortable reporting crimes so that police can do their job and catch these criminals. Now, Metro says they will continue to reach out to the Hispanic community about crime prevention as one of their ongoing projects. We're live from Freedom Park. Martha Guzman, Channel 8 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Martha. Metro was also busy today handing out information to recruit more Spanish-speaking officers at today's festival. Right now, 10% of the officers with the department are Hispanic, and officers say having more bilingual officers will help them build bridges into the Hispanic community. Former President Jimmy Carter was also at that event today. He's in town because his son Jack Carter is recovering in a Summerlin hospital. Jack Carter, the Democratic nominee for U.S. Senate, was admitted on Thursday after he suffered an inflammation of the colon. Carter is in intensive care, but doctors say he is recovering nicely. Jack Carter is running against Republican Senator John Ensign for U.S. Senate in the November election. Senator Ensign released a statement. It reads in part, "Our thoughts and prayers remain with Jack and his family during this difficult time." Police are searching for two men who dumped a body in a residential neighborhood. It happened this morning near Rainbow and Alta. Police say they received calls about a man lying in the street. When they arrived, the man was dead, and authorities say he had been shot. Witnesses told police they saw someone dump the body. Police believe the victim may have been walking in the area before he got into the car. A Nevada man is dead after a small plane crash in Mexico. 57-year-old Robert McNeely was one of 3 medical volunteers headed to Mexico to help others. He was piloting the small plane when it went down Friday near the U.S.-Mexico border. In the neighborhood where he's from, near Desert Inn and Lindell, people there say they're saddened and they're shocked. 2 other people who were on that flight also died. They were from California. The space shuttle Atlantis is on its way to the International Space Station to make a 17.5-ton delivery. They're very busy. We'll have the story. Plus, people in Bermuda are gathering supplies and taking shelter as Hurricane Florence churns towards the island. And later in sports, it couldn't have gone worse for Brett Favre at the start of the last season. Michael Burk has your highlights coming up in sports.
And no complaints about those overnight lows. They've been nice and comfy. Outside right now, your neighborhood's in the low 90s. We are on a roll. How long will it last? Your answer in just a few minutes.
You're watching Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 6:30. It's not just news, it's Eyewitness News.
The crew of the space shuttle Atlantis received a special wake-up call this morning. That was a version of Moon River sung by Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's. The song was requested by Commander Brent Jett's wife. Today, the crew inspected the space shuttle for damage as they head to the International Space Station. Once they're there, they'll deliver a 300-foot truss, which will help provide power, data, and temperature control to the International Space Station's electronics. A powerful earthquake hit the Gulf of Mexico. The magnitude 6.0 quake sent shockwaves through an area that stretched from Louisiana all the way to Florida. Experts, though, say the quake was not strong enough to trigger a tsunami and there's no real danger. No damages have been reported as well. The quake was the largest and most widely felt in the region in the last 30 years. Meanwhile, the second hurricane of the season has formed and it's heading for Bermuda. Hurricane Florence is currently a Category 1 storm, but it's expected to strengthen into a Category 2 by the time it hits the island. Today, residents scramble to get last-minute supplies and gas as the government urged them to immediately take shelter. Metro Police are using new high-powered rifles, and they're practicing these weapons in a brand new way. An I-team investigation is coming up. And you're looking at a live picture from our Channel 8 camera atop the Rio. As Ted promised, those triple digits have gone away for a little while, hopefully a long while. They'll have the details coming up in your neighborhood weather forecast.
You're watching Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 6:30. It's not just news, it's Eyewitness News.
Ever since the shooting death of Metro Police Sergeant Henry Prendez in February, donations for better weapons have been pouring in. Now, many officers are opting to carry high-powered rifles to better match the firepower of criminals on our streets, but those rifles require some very special training. Channel 8 I-team reporter Mark Sayre has more.
This week, the department has a rifleman class. There's approximately 15 patrol officers in a department. Smith & Wesson issued rifle class. Safe 'em, hang 'em. That's the first half.
But when the sun goes down, the really tough work begins.
We're doing a nighttime qualification. The biggest challenge at night is being able to identify your target.
Area that's in contrast to your target.
Officers learn targeting techniques.
Light on, identify, light off, engage.
And ways to stay safe.
And then take that step.
In the dark.
Get away from where you just were when you discharged your weapon or when you fired your weapon.
Then the moment of truth. As officers approach the range,
Stage 2, 7-yard line.
We were not allowed to use our lights.
Shooters ready. On the whistle.
So the grainy images you are seeing are what an officer might see at a crime scene late at night.
2 more rounds. Center mass. 12 seconds.
Officers shoot their MP-15 rifles
15-yard line.
from 4 distances
25-yard line.
and must hit 85% of the time in order to pass.
20, 18.
Officers will tell you
16 is an 80%.
It's no easy task.
It's a lot different than during the day. It's a lot harder to see, especially if the low light situations or if situations in which you don't have a flashlight.
But they say it is time well spent.
Tonight was good.
With the exception of special units like SWAT, training on these rifles is purely voluntary. Right now, more than 400 Metro officers are qualified. Officers, by the way, have to qualify every quarter. Ted Florendo joins us to look at the forecast, and we were just talking about how good it is to be average.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with being average. I mean, look at me, right?
We're talking about the temperatures. You're so goofy.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Hey, overnight, too, it was great. Hey, I got a present for you, Colleen. Take a look at that TV screen right there. We've got a nice little sunset outside, so if you want to get out, take a look at it, you can. Temperatures right now. Man, I want to talk about those. Those are in the 90s to upper 80s. I'd love to stay on that shot, but your neighborhoods out there are great. In fact, I'm going to step out of the way here. Look at this. 90s for MLK and Cary. Mid-80s for DI and 215. Currently 87 for Boulder City. These are current temperatures now. We're at 94 Pahrump at this 6 o'clock hour. Currently 91 at Cheyenne and Las Vegas Boulevard. Not much wind for you there. And Henderson on Water Street, 89 degrees, winds about 3. And overnight lows were fantastic. I took a walk around my neighborhood. Everything was great. Just great outside. Upper 60s throughout the valley. 77 for our low for Lake Mead. 65 Overton. Highs today, mid-90s. Well, sort of similar to yesterday. Just shy of 100 for Flamingo and Boulder Highway there. Mid-90s for Lake Mead. And also 95 for Mesquite there. 66 Mount Charleston. This was your top temperature at McCarran today. 92 degrees. 96 is our average. We dropped to 70 for our overnight low. And we continue to monitor Hurricane Florence right now. Well off the Atlantic coast here. Its winds right now at 90 miles per hour. Is a Category 1 hurricane. 180 miles off of Bermuda, moving to north at 13 miles per hour. This will not directly hit the Atlantic seaboard. It will head north, then back out to sea, but we will get some high surf from it and some dangerous riptide along the Atlantic coast. Maybe also some beach erosion there as well. Here's your satellite and radar composite. A few thunderstorms popped up into Mojave County. That's been about it. We just saw a few clouds today. Did not produce any rain. High pressure is starting to move its way into the north part of the state. That will warm us up on Tuesday. That will warm us up on Wednesday into the upper 90s. But your true view for the morning still looks nice and sunny. Mostly clear, probably the low 70s by 6 a.m. and also in the 80s by noon. So here's your forecast for South Valley now. Temps tomorrow about 96, sunny and warm. Notice our winds now coming from the north at 5 to 10. 71 for your overnight low, nice and comfortable this evening. 95 for tomorrow, mainly clear skies. Your average is 96. So we're going to stay about average the rest of this week, and we're going to bring in lots of sunshine. Now remember, we're going to heat up a little Tuesday and Wednesday. Could hit 100 though down in Laughlin and maybe some neighborhoods here, but then after that high passes through, we'll get some breezes, and those temperatures, those hundreds are all she wrote. Low 90s for Saturday and Sunday, and it is going to be nice into the 70s. I tell you though, it was great walking around the neighborhood where the pavement wasn't hot. Just felt great overnight.
Yeah, it's been a nice change.
Yes, it is. The welcome change.
Another change.
I think it's all relative though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where you're coming, I mean, 99 is not always...
I think we did it for you, coming in aboard.
Michael Burk, our newest member of the weekend team, here to do sports, and he's from Oregon, so he's still probably getting used to the desert. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a hot day.
Just wait till next summer.
Then it'll feel good.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but welcome, happy to have you.
That's nice of you, thank you. All right, coming up later on in sports, next in sports actually, the Dodgers go for the split in New York. The Eagles look just fine after their split with T.O. And will this guy be back on the field in time for a trip to Hawaii? Coach Sanford in studio right after this. Quite possibly one of the worst things in sports, watching as a legend hangs on for too long. Brett Favre may have done just that after watching today's Packers-Bears game to open the season for Green Bay. Remember, he wavered all season long on whether or not to retire. Rex Grossman won't have to retire, airs this one out for Bernard Berrien. He's into the end zone from 49 yards out. 7-0 Chicago in the lead. Fourth quarter action, leading by 19. Devin Hester retreats to the 16-yard line, and there he goes. Across midfield, an entourage into the end zone, 84 yards, 26-0 Packers. Brett Favre trying to avoid his first career shutout in a game he started. Through two of those. First time he's ever shut out as a starter. Packers 0-1 to start the season. Heisman Trophy winner Reggie Bush making his debut. Saints at Cleveland. First quarter action, no score. Swing it out to the USC product. He gets 10 yards on the reception there. He went over 50 yards receiving. Reggie then rip off his longest run of the day. A little speed, a little power for 18 yards. 141 yards of total offense, including a couple of punt returns. 9-7 in the third when Drew Brees and the Saints put it away. A touchdown pass to make it 16-7. 19-14 the final. Saints begin the season with a win. The opening week of the NFL season continued with the opening regular season act of Terrell Owens and the Dallas Cowboys. Apparently, T.O. practiced enough during the week because Bill Parcells started him today in Jacksonville, and he started his game plan with T.O. 13 yards on the slant. Dallas gets a quick first down, but that's about as good as it got for the Cowboys. They led 10-0, but then Byron Leftwich and the Jags come right back. Touchdown run to complement his touchdown pass earlier in the game. 17-10 Jaguars. A Drew Bledsoe interception led to 7 more points before he would finally hook up with T.O. First time this season, 104th time in T.O.'s career. Made a great adjustment on that one. But the Cowboys would get no closer, and they lose by 7, 24-17 the final score. Bledsoe picked off 3 times. How did the Eagles fare in their first game without Terrell Owens? Philly and the Texans in Houston. Gary Kubiak making his debut as the Texans head coach. Kubiak was an offensive guy. Nobody had the defensive call right on that one. McNabb to Dante Stallworth. Ties the game, 7 apiece from 43 yards out. And then Donovan to Reggie Brown. Looks like the Eagles might be just A-okay without T.O. 24-10 final score. McNabb with 3 touchdown passes. Last of 4 games for the division-leading Dodgers and Mets. L.A. entered the day 1.5 up on San Diego and looking to salvage a split at Shea Stadium. And, of course, the Mets would be honoring the 5th-year anniversary of 9/11, which comes up tomorrow. Dodgers, get this from Kenny Lofton. A rip fair down the right field line. Wilson Betterment, Russell Martin, and here comes Rafael Furcal. He'll score 2. Bases clearing triple for Lofton, who still has speed. His ripe old age. 3-0, 6-0 now when Nomar Garciaparra turns on this one. Home run number 17 of the year. Could be the NL's comeback player of the year. 4 RBIs for Nomar. 6-0 Dodgers. 9-0 at that point. 9-1 the final. As they do, in fact, salvage the split. The Rebels lost more than just the football game. Once the controversy ended last night in Ames, they also went without their quarterback for much of the game and aren't yet sure how long this knee injury will keep Rocky Hines on the sidelines.
County 2006 campaign.
Whether he will be able to play this week or not is going to depend on him. The fact is that, you know, we were on grass. He caught his cleats in the turf. We're on field turf this week, which I think is a plus as far as him being able to play, but that's going to still be determined.
All right, game time with UNLV tonight following Eyewitness News at 11. Final round of the PGA Tour's Canadian Open. Jim Furyk, a former U.S. Open champ from a few years ago. Third hole, -9. Jim dials in for the birdie. He's a 10 under par. He fired a 5 under 65. Bart Bryant to force a playoff hole from about 30 feet away. It's a good putt in any other situation, but not when you need it. Jim Furyk makes up 2 strokes to start the day and wins by 1 north of the border.
Thanks very much, Michael.
You bet.
And welcome for the last time.
You won't do it at 11?
Maybe at 11. I know I'm embarrassing you every show, so
One more.
we're happy to have you. Thanks, Michael.
Yep.
Coming up tonight on Eyewitness News Live at 11, Steve Foreman, a former New Yorker who moved to Las Vegas, will talk to us about coping with life at Ground Zero after 9/11 and how he and his fellow New Yorkers coped, plus how people in New York and Pennsylvania are remembering the tragic event. Plus, a man was shot and killed after a botched robbery late last night. We'll let you know how frequent violent gun crimes and robberies are becoming. Plus, an American journalist being held captive in the Sudan is finally freed. Tonight, he speaks out about his ordeal. We'll have these stories plus all your late breaking news tonight at 11 o'clock. You want to take a final check of weather?
Yeah, after a great morning, we thought we'd keep the ball rolling for everybody. Okay. Temperatures, we've got a day planner for you. 71 at 6 a.m. Mostly clear skies, then it's nice and sunny by noon. 85, 94 by then. 6 p.m. looking nice and sunny.
Thanks so much for joining us. 60 Minutes is next.
All right.